And the offensive coordinator of the Aztecs now is our friend Bob Toledo. Bob, thanks for coming aboard. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, getting ready for preparing a rookie quarterback or a freshman quarterback after you lose a veteran guy like that. Do you shorten up the game plan? How do you go about putting a freshman quarterback in there and preparing him for a pretty good Fresno State team?
Well, you're absolutely right, Dan. You can't give them the whole playbook, and plus it's a short week. We play Friday night, so we're missing a day of practice. So we've gone on the old chalkboard and thrown up the plays that he feels most comfortable with, and things that we've done that we feel we could execute. And we can't add a lot of stuff. There's not enough time, and there's not enough experience. And then, you don't only talk about Nick Bowden, the starter, but the backup is Christian Chapman. He's a true freshman as well out of Carlsbad. And then we got a walk-on Drew Anderson out of the Bay Area who's a true freshman. So all three quarterbacks are going to be true freshmen.
Wow. That is for a lot of sleepless nights, I would think, Coach. I mean, because like you said, not just preparing the starter, but you got to go all the way down to the third-team guy, and he's got to take first-team snaps too, no?
Yeah, what we try to do with him is we try to get him in like our inside run drills and some of the skeleton stuff, when he's not doing a lot of team stuff. But those other guys need their teamwork. So the third guy's not going to get much, and the second guy is going to get about 25%, and then Nick Bowden needs about 75%.
Coach, one thing, too, I was told by Bill Walsh years ago, when you're starting a freshman or a rookie quarterback, you give him half the field to manage, especially because, again, you're talking about a guy who's going to have a lot of tunnel vision out there because this is just an experience issue now. So like you said about drawing plays up on a chalkboard for a guy, you're probably looking at really, like you said, the plays that he feels comfortable with. But do you subscribe to that, Coach, that, you're not going to see him looking at the entire field. You're going to give him half the field. That's why they roll a lot of quarterbacks when they're young in the NFL, because they give them half the field to manage.
Well, you're pretty much right. We can't give him too much, and he's not going to be able to go through all his progressions and go 1, 2, 3, and even 4, 5. We're going to have to cut it down and say, hey, we're going to go to this guy and that guy, and if not, throw the ball away or run. And that's the one advantage that Nick Bowden and Christian Chapman have, is they have legs, so they have the ability to make plays with their legs as well. Where Quinn wasn't going to run and make a lot of plays running with the football. So I think we got to simplify. We got to make sure that he knows exactly where to go with the ball, and just not have too much for him.
Coach, what'd you learn about the offense against Vegas?
Well, we're physical, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Dan. We can run the football.
Absolutely.
We ran for over a couple hundred yards, and if we can run the ball, then our play action passes really become big plays for us, and try to stay out of third down situations. Be able to run the ball on first down and complete routine passes on first down, so second down is manageable, and then stay out of long yardage situations. And the one thing that we did better this game is we didn't turn the ball over. We haven't fumbled the ball all year, thank God, but we have thrown some interceptions, and Quinn didn't throw any interceptions this last week. And when you don't turn the ball over and you rush for a couple hundred yards and you have almost 500 total, like you said, you have a pretty good chance to win most games.
I could just hear Jimmy Johnson in my head going, never be 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. Always make sure you got that offense in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. So I would think, like you just said, Coach, the running game is probably, especially with these freshman quarterbacks you have here, is going to be essential to winning this football game against the Bulldogs.
No question. I think it all starts up front, Dan. We've got to stay out of those 2nd and long situations, and obviously 3rd and longs, because then they're going to tee off and come after us. So, we got to be very efficient on first down, making 4 or more yards every time, so that we can kind of stay up on the chains and continue to make first downs and not put ourselves behind the 8 ball.
Boy, this Pumphrey kid, man, what was it? Almost 170 yards, 4 touchdowns. Am I seeing it right, Coach? Each and every single week, he seems more comfortable, more confident, and really doesn't matter what the opponent is, man. This guy's a big-time back.
Yeah, I tell you what, he is explosive. He gets the ball. He is so quick and he's so fast. And for a little guy, he's not even 170 pounds. He will hit you. He'll attack you. He's just a very physical 170-pound kid. And the thing about him is he's got that burst. If he gets open, watch out, he's gone. And he's an exciting guy to watch. He runs great. He can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. He can do a lot of things. His passing leaves a little bit to be desired. I had a little pass on the goal line. But outside of that, at least we're keeping them off balance and making them not have to come up and support that run all the time. But he's a heck of a back. I'll tell you, he's good.
Aztec OC Bob Toledo here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. This Holder kid, you talked about some of your young guys that we're going to have to step up and step into the light there a little bit for you. This kid looks like he could be a player for you too, Coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, Eric Judge hurt his knee in practice Thursday, so he wasn't able to play in the game. So Jamon Hazley stepped up and did a nice job. And then we actually took Michael Holder out of his redshirt year. We were thinking about redshirting him, but he's got so much ability. In the next few years, you're going to hear a lot about Michael Holder because he's got great feet. He's quick. He's fast. He's got really good route running ability, and he's got excellent hands. Wait till you see him jump up for the football and catch some balls over some of those DBs. You guys are going to be very excited over the next few years with this guy.
Larry Clark too, huh, Coach? I mean, you guys got some. I tell you, you're starting to find and you're starting to see guys. I mean, that old adage. I used to look at it, Coach, when people would write that stuff on a chalkboard and go, "You coaches were stupid with this," but next guy up. It really is next guy up here.
Well, it is. All of a sudden you lose, Zell Ruffin, and Larry Clark makes a phenomenal catch and makes a few catches. Lloyd Mills made an unbelievable catch just before half to get us a touchdown on the 1-yard line. And as you mentioned, Hazley and then Holder coming on. I tell you, we got some young receivers that are doing a great job. And of course, Donald Pumphrey and Chase Price at the running back position have done a super job. And our offensive line is pretty physical. They're big guys, and they're physical. They knock people around.
Hey, Coach, Fresno State, what do they look like to you so far on film, and what kind of issues could they give us here this Friday?
Well, they played some good people. They played USC, and they played Nebraska, and, they played some good people. And they've got some good players. All 4 of their linebackers returned from last year. 3 of their 4 defensive backs returned. They're going to start a freshman corner who started last week against New Mexico and had great speed. He's 6'2", and 180 pounds. And then they got probably the best nose guard. This kid, Tyler Davidson, he's about 6'2" and about 310. So they might have the best nose guard in the country. And, it's kind of like baseball. You look at the middle, the nose guard, the 2 inside backers, and the 2 safeties. They all had good games against us last year. So it's going to be tough sledding up there, particularly with a real simplified game plan.
Coach, I've always believed, like when we took on Carolina and we took on Oregon State, I always believe that, the earlier you play games like that, just same way like Fresno State, I watched that Southern Cal game. Their turnovers early in that game killed them. They had like some big-time turnovers in the first quarter. But when you're in the arena like that and you're in the light like that, you find out on a chalkboard where your guys are. You can evaluate a lot quicker going into conference play. And I would think both teams getting ready for this team. I mean, you guys are 1-0 in your side of the bracket right now, Mountain West. So this is a pretty big game on Friday.
It's a huge game. Both teams are really picked to win the division on our side. So I think the winner of this game has a great opportunity to maybe go on and win the conference on this side of the ball and play in the championship game.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on one thing. Quinn Kaler being injured and dealing with injured players. And like you see with what's going on in Michigan with Brady Hoke, how do you manage that? Because, listen, if I'm injured, Coach, and you go, hey, look, how you feeling? The worst thing you can tell a player is, how you feeling? I'm going to look at you and I'm going to go, I ain't coming out for anything, Coach. I don't give a crap if my arm's broken.
Yeah.
I am not. How do you manage that? And is it one of the tougher things you have to do to kind of protect players from themselves?
Well, over the years, Dan, I've just believed in the trainers and the doctors. It's in their hands. If a kid says, hey, I can play, it's up to the doctor. And, when you got a grade 3 separation, you're not going to be playing much for a while. So I was shocked he even went back in the game and finished up that one series that we had to have him with. But I just think that the doctors are the ones that got to make that decision. That should be out of the hands of coaches, and it should be out of the hands of players, too. They all want to play, but the doctors and trainers got to make those decisions.
I always wondered why a head coach, his first signs and his first hires are usually bringing the trainer with him and also bringing the strength and conditioning coach with him. And I understand now why, because those guys are kind of like your eyes and ears in the locker room, and those are the people that kind of watch over your personnel as you prepare and protect. So that those two seem to me, Coach, and now I get why those 2 coaches are signed first, more so than even offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator.
Boy, I tell you, you're absolutely right. And over the years, being a head coach, I've had opportunities to hire, and then I've had opportunities where I couldn't hire. And I'll tell you what, it's tough because they don't have to respond to you or answer to you. They answer to the administration. And I've said it forever. I think if the head coach gets fired, the strength coach gets fired, the trainer gets fired, the equipment guy gets fired, the academic advisor gets fired. They all get fired because that way they'd work harder for you. And I think that's one of the problems. If you don't have total control over those people, they don't work hard enough for you. But we got a great situation here. We got some good doctors, good trainers, and it's a good situation for Rocky.
Coach, good luck to you on Friday against Fresno State and bring home a victory. Thanks so much, Coach.
I appreciate it. Take care, man.